What is up, YouTube? My name is Taylor and you are watching another review video. But this review video, we're going to be reviewing French Bulldogs. And the response that you get from me might surprise you. So stay tuned to hear my full pros and cons of this breed of dog. This is my dog Arthur. He's a French Bulldog. This beautiful creature named Arthur has been part of our family for the last 4 years. Now, I will start off and say that he is deaf. He was born deaf. He cannot hear anything, which kind of skews some of the research that I have just because of the fact that he can't hear anything. So when I talk about these things with you, just keep that in mind that he can't hear anything. So it just makes things a little bit different. Okay, so I'm gonna start out with the pros because I think that French Bulldogs are beautiful creatures. They are so cute. They're actually so ugly that they're cute. You know what I mean? They're just like, they just have that really different style, body shape, different face, really short snout, all of these characteristics that make Frenchies Frenchies. And our French Bulldog is very well trained. And I think this has to do with the fact that number one, Michael is very strict with him and he was when he was a baby. So that means that he's a really well-trained dog. Now, what I mean by well-trained, I mean he has never had an accident, knock on wood, in this house other than one time he was sick. But anyways, he has not had any accidents in this house. He does not, you know, tinkle anywhere. He doesn't do anything naughty, which is just absolutely amazing. He does not chew on things, so we can leave our cords plugged in near the bottom of the, bottom of the walls. We can leave shoes on the floor, different things like that. But again, that has a lot to do with training as human beings, that we have the responsibility to train our dogs so that they are well behaved, right? So we have trained him very well because we were strict with him when he was a puppy. So now he's a great dog. And of course he was, they're puppies, right? He was a puppy and went through that whole phase, but now he is a great listener. You know what I mean? He can't actually listen, but he's very well trained. He also knows some sign language. So thinking about how dogs react and how they're taught different things, he knows a few different hand signals that tell him what is going on. Now, of course, just like any other dog, any other child, whatever, sometimes they just choose not to listen. So Arthur knows what the signals mean. Sometimes he just doesn't do what we're asking him to do. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. Another thing that he does, and what I think is adorable, is that he is just so cute. He just really doesn't do anything. He literally wakes up, sits around, eats food, and then sleeps all day, right? He has bouts of energy where he's got the zoomies, he's running around being all crazy, but for the most part, he's a very, very chill, cute dog. So he's perfect to be with me in my office. I work from home, so he literally has his own chair, his own spot where he sleeps during the day, and all we do is just hear him snore. And that's about it. He signals to us that he needs to go outside. He is, we feed him regularly, obviously on like a schedule, but he eats as he is hungry. So he really doesn't do anything, and I think that's very cute. Okay, Arthur and this breed in general is a very non-barking breed, and specifically him, I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that he can't hear or not, but he does not bark unless he's like riled up and playing. He does not bark at people walking by or at cars or at people or anything like that, which I think also has to do with training. French Bulldogs also have a great lifespan. So if you're looking for a dog to keep around for a while, their lifespan is 10 to 14 years, kind of like on average. Of course, if you take care of them, right, and you are helping them become healthier, this is going to help extend their lifespan. Of course, exercise, great diet, different things like that helps a lot. Now, we do not feed Arthur people food just because he's got a lot of sensitivities, he's got a lot of allergies, some stomach issues, and we'll get to that in the cons list in a little bit here. So yeah, it's just interesting because he he has a very strict diet. He has a very, you know, regimented day type of thing. He does things like clockwork, so that helps make it be, you know, make him be a really great dog. Okay, the last thing that I'm gonna say about him is that he is just literally so cute. He's so adorable. The little things that he does, the little things that make him Arthur are his adorable little snorts, right? He's got a really super short nasal cavity. And so what that means is that he's got more blockage there, which makes him be very loud. So he's snorting, he's constantly, you know, when he breathes, he makes noise. Of course, when he's sleeping, he snores, and I mean, that's very cute. Sometimes it's annoying when you're trying to be on the phone or whatever, but for the most part, it's very cute. He also has, again, those zoomies. He's got bouts of energy that just make him just absolutely crazy. He'll literally just like whiz in circles, and it's just so cute. He's just adorable.
Dude, chill. Okay, bye.
So that is the pros of Arthur and French Bulldogs. They're great family dogs. They're easily trained. They are very cute, and they're very well behaved. Now I'm going to get into the cons. And I think the biggest thing overall is the health and the cost of French Bulldogs. Now we all know about the hype within French Bulldogs, right? They're very like celebrity type of thing that people want Frenchies because they're really cool and maybe more rare. And although that may be true, that also comes with a price tag, okay? So the first thing that I'll mention is their health. So Arthur, of course, has been deaf his whole life. That does not have anything to do with him now. He's not affected by it because it's not like he had hearing and then lost it. He just has been deaf his whole life. So his deafness has not caused any health differences in him as a dog, but he does have a lot of allergies to food, and he's got a lot of sensitivities. So he is allergic to chicken. He's allergic to a lot of things. So his food that he has is a very special blend that is veal and potato. So it's only those two like things together in his food, and so that means that he's more expensive to take care of because his food is like double the cost of regular dog food. We went through a period of time where he was losing a bunch of weight. He had a lot of really bad like vomiting, diarrhea, different things like that for like an extended period of time, and we just couldn't figure out what was going on. So through trying different foods with him and different methods, like I was literally meal prepping for him at one point. Like I would meal prep him all 3 meals of the day, like chicken, very, you know, perfectly cooked chicken and rice. Like I did a bunch of research on it, and I tried to help him, but it turns out that I was not helping him. I was actually hurting him. So doing research only gets you so far. You do need a professional to help you with that. So you pay to go to the vet, you pay to figure out what's going on, pay for blood work, pay for testing different types of foods. So we tried a lot of different foods with him until we figured out that this one that he's on right now is the good blend. So he's allergic to things, like I said. He's also really sensitive with weather. So living in the Midwest, we have very, very cold temperatures. This last week we got to like negative 40 degrees with the wind chill, and sometimes in the summer we get to 80, 90 degrees. And French Bulldogs, because of their really small, short snout, they can't really handle a lot of either of those things. So if he's outside for an extended period of time in the summer, he can get really overheated very quickly. And because Arthur and that specific, you know, the breed, they are very playful animals. Like I said, they go in those spurts. So if they're in an energetic spurt outside and they're just running, he and any French Bulldog is at a higher risk because they don't have the ability to kind of regulate like humans can. We can tell when we're getting hot, so we can stop and relax. But if French Bulldogs and dogs in general are outside just playing, that's really hard for them to stop and slow down. So I've had to monitor him. That sounds so weird, but I've had to monitor him outside with it being super hot out because he can get really overheated very quickly. And that's obviously the last thing that you want as a dog parent, is for your dog to get sick or hurt because you neglected to take care of them. Okay, that is also the same for cold. Of course, he's like this tiny little sweet 20-pound potato. He can't be outside for too long, otherwise he just, you know, it's just not good for anybody, specifically little animals. So when he goes to the bathroom in the winter, he's out and in like so fast. And, you know, again, just being a considerate parent in general to your animal is a big part of that. The next con that I'll say again is that his body is very, very short, and Frenchies are bred to look like this, right? They've got this really, really short, stout body with this big chest, this big rib cage, and he looks very muscular from the front because he's got everything kind of shoved in there. But we have had x-rays done on him, and he's got a lot of significantly more vertebrae in his back than what there's technically room for. So this is one of the things that Frenchies get expensive on, is that they have not only breathing problems and nasal problems that lead to overall blood flow, but they also have these bodies that are basically shoved into these tiny little bodies, and they're just genetically deformed because they've been bred this way to look like this. Now, of course, their ears are very cute because they're sticking straight up, but those also attract more infections. They attract more problems as well in the long run.
His tongue is sticking out. Cutie pie. Little baby cutie pie. Cutie, just a little. Oh, I don't want to be bitten in the arm today.
So he's had some hip problems before, where his lower back and hips, again, he's literally just shoved inside of this cute little body. So he's got a lot of pain because there's significantly more pressure there that is causing him to not be as flexible, not be as, it just doesn't heal the same way that other dogs or even us humans that have normal spines feel and heal on a daily basis. So he was, this is probably 6 months ago or so. He was in and out of the doctor, in and out of the emergency room because he just simply could not calm down, and he was panting a lot, and it was because of the fact that he couldn't regulate the pain that he was feeling, right? So as human beings, we can usually articulate what pain is because we have words to describe what we're saying and what we're feeling, and dogs just can't do that, right? The only thing that they can do is try to get comfortable, and through that, he was panting a lot. So I thought it was a lung thing, but it turns out he has a lot of lower back issues. And so through a lot of R&R, he was able to, get back to normal, but that included us not letting him jump, we can let him run. He could barely walk. There was a lot of very strict things we had to do to make sure that his body was able to just kind of lower the inflammation and start to heal. And that's pretty common with Frenchies as well. So they also have very large eyes. So Arthur has not had any eye issues, knock on wood, but that is a really common thing, that they have what's called cherry eyes. Like their eyeball literally pops out of their sockets, and it causes them to have like a cherry red eyeball. Gross and terrifying, I'm not gonna lie, but it is one of the issues that French Bulldogs often see, is that if they're really hyped up and they're really excited again and they do things really quickly, that could be one of the things that happens, is their eyeball pops kind of out of its socket. It's not cute, not great. So Arthur has not had any of those issues, but it is something that is more common amongst Frenchies. Of course, French Bulldogs, they're, I don't know specifically about breeding French Bulldogs or like the birthing process, but that's a whole nother thing that I will not get into because I don't personally do that or have that. Michael and I have had no experience with that, so I'm just gonna skip over that part. So not only are they expensive when it comes to their health, but they're also expensive to treat and get veterinary care. Because they're more rare, there's fewer places that are able to truly treat him, right? You can bring any pet, I feel like, to any vet, but if you really want someone who cares in that specific way for that specific breed, you're gonna need to find somebody who is a little bit more specialized. So that can be more expensive to find somebody who has that Frenchie experience, or if you need to have surgery on him or her, you know, your dog, you're gonna need to find someone who specifically works on Frenchies, and that again is going to be more expensive. The next thing that I'm gonna say is that they're expensive to purchase. Okay, so French Bulldogs, again, have that hype around them. They've got that celebrity status, whatever you wanna say. That means that they're more expensive than most dogs, right? Of course, there's gonna be some crazy rare dog, but French Bulldogs, I feel like, are at the upper end of the cost of dogs. On average, French Bulldogs cost anywhere between $3,000 and $8,000 to get a purebred Frenchie. Can you find them cheaper? Yes. Can you get them cheaper if they're deaf? Also yes. But on average, they're, you know, $3,000 to $8,000. The dog that we were going to purchase was $6,500, and that was a female, light gray colored fur, bright blue eyes, and of course Arthur is white and gray, and he's a male and he's also deaf. So we purchased him for just under $3,000 for everything all in. But if you want something specific, those are going to be more expensive. So not only do you purchase them at an expensive price, but you also usually have to get them shipped to you, or in Arthur's case, he was flown to us from Florida. So we had to pay for the flight and the lady that brought him up here for the time that it took for him to get up here. So is that really the most like effective and efficient way to get a new pet? No, absolutely not. And which is really interesting, because just because I'm saying this does not mean that I love my dog any less. But I think from a usefulness scale and from the side of things, that if you really want a pet, to have a pet that you're going to love, I don't think that French Bulldogs are the best choice for most people. There's no real use to him, right? He doesn't retrieve things. He's not a guard dog. He's not a, you know, he doesn't have any special skills, right? He can't alert anybody if there's, you know, he's sniffing around and there's drugs or a bomb or like what, you know, he's just not very useful. So if you're looking for a dog to be useful, if you're looking for a dog for a specific purpose, obviously that is what I would recommend, is find the best dog for that. But if you've got money to blow and you're okay with having a high maintenance dog, then Frenchies are for you, okay? And if I were to go back in time, yes, I would definitely do it again, because obviously I love him very much and our family loves him and our friends love him. But I think, again, on the grand scheme of things, I don't think that French Bulldogs are worth the dollar for the hype. Now, like I said, they're expensive to buy, but not only are they expensive to buy, they're expensive to vet. So Arthur, over his lifespan, we've spent over $4,000 in getting him care. So that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a vet, for a dog, right? So just thinking about all these things that add up, pros and cons. You know, I said that he was really loud, and I thought that was cute, but it could also be seen as a con, right? If you don't want a loud dog, then don't buy a Frenchie, right? He's got digestive issues, so he toots a lot, okay? So that's also a con, unless you think that's cute or whatever. But there's so many things that just kind of, that could be taken either way. So in my eyes, I do not think French Bulldogs are a great dog if you're just looking to get a dog. With the health issues, the cost, all of these things that kind of pile together to make French Bulldogs, that is just simply my opinion. Now, again, I love my dog. He's adorable. He's very cute, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's necessarily worth it. So if you have questions, please comment them down below, and I will see you on a review video very soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.